Borja Mayoral. If you just... Barcelona managed to survive. 3 important points for them. Despite, in my opinion, it was their worst performance of this season by far. Like, I've watched every game for Barcelona this season, and this is by far their worst performance in terms of creation, in terms of their intent, in terms of anything, like in terms of the way they controlled, especially in that towards the last 10, 15, 20 minutes of the second half. We'll, of course, talk about everything before I go any further. Don't forget to, of course, like, share, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. And let's talk about the game. The first 15 minutes, Barca was under pressure. Barca was absolutely under pressure. But the reason why I feel like the first 45 minutes wasn't, not just 45 minutes, the reason why the whole game wasn't the best is because of one thing. Let's talk about the lineup, yeah? Let's talk about the lineup. This is how Barcelona pretty much shaped up. And this is how Barcelona lined up. You have to look at it, yeah. Of course, the back four, Kubasi came back, Bode came back after being rested the last game against Villarreal. Inaki Peña, I keep getting ads, man. Inaki Peña, of course, started his first game, and we'll talk about, of course, what it means that Barcelona, of course, has made a goalkeeper signing, a free transfer. We'll talk about it shortly. The reason why, in my opinion, in terms of why Barcelona struggled in terms of creating anything was because of those 2 double pivots. Eric Garcia had a decent game defensively. Casado had a very good, decent game. I think he won over 6-7 duels. Very tenacious again. But these 2 are not really players that you can expect to carry the ball, progress into the final third. That's why, in terms of these 2, their job today was purely defending. Defending the gaps, whether it's helping Koundé. Actually, he was there and not that. It's the other way around. Whether Casado helping Bode or Eric Garcia helping Koundé. Their job was purely just defending. Whereas Lamine Yamal, today's role was very different in terms of what we've seen Lamine Yamal throughout the whole season. Lamine Yamal's role today was helping Pablo Torre. He isn't really, like today's game, he didn't really have any sort of creation. I think it wasn't the greatest of games of Pablo Torre, because there was a couple games where he held too much of the ball. He could have released the ball, especially in the first half. That's one chance in the first half where he took too much on the ball. He could have released it and it would have been 2-0 to Barcelona. Instead, he took too many touches. Lamine Yamal's role in the first half specifically was go throughout the middle. He was very, very centrally, because he was the only really, without Olmo, without Pedri, he was the only really hope of getting the ball from these 2 and progressing with the ball around here in the final third, taking the ball and helping. That's why in terms of the first half, his heat map was here and here. The goal itself came when he took the ball, and of course Koundé. Koundé, in my opinion, I think Lamine Yamal won La Liga's man of the match. In terms of fit mob, they've given it to Lewa. But in terms of who I would give man of the match, it will be Koundé. Like, I think Koundé this season has been an axe. The way he's changed his career and the way this role suits him perfectly. Like, to be completely honest with you, for me, you can even make an argument. You can make an argument. He's been the 2nd or 3rd best fullback, the best right back in the world. For me, Trent has been number 1, but I think you can make a very good case that this guy has been the 2nd or 3rd best right back this season so far. What we've seen, like the assist is him finally overlapping. Last season, he wasn't doing that. This season, we're seeing a bit more from him, where Lamine Yamal found him, and of course, Koundé overlapped. And this guy has now, this season, what he's done this game as well. Let's talk about very quickly as well. What Lewa's done this game. He is very smart in the sense of how he actually builds up. This season, he's dropping deep, but he's dropping deep very smartly. Last season, he was dropping deep for the sake of dropping deep, and it was killing the build-up. Whenever he got the ball, boom, it got intercepted, and the attack was wasted because of this guy. Now, he knows where to be. The movement is very different. Honestly, this is the best version of Lewa since, of course, the COVID season and 2020, what he did in that Ballon d'Or season. Ironically enough, that was under Hansi Flick. So Hansi Flick has basically turned him into that same exact player that you drop deep when you feel the moment is right. And in terms of around the box, move around. Last season was very stagnant. Last season was very rigid. That he was waiting for the ball to come to him. This time around, this season, he's the one that's actually making separation, and he's the one that's actually waiting for the ball. Like the goal today, Koundé, of course, Lamine Yamal, Koundé comes here, crosses it, and got deflected with the goalkeeper. But last season, Lewa, he would have just waited for the ball to come to him. He would have never anticipated for the ball to be around the box. This time around, he's actually moving around, trying to make the space for himself, and it worked perfectly. Even, I think he had a decent game, to be fair, but this guy, in my opinion, was, for me, man of the match. Like the way he performed, the way he was overlapping when needed to. Like I said, Lamine's Yamal role, I think today wasn't the greatest of performances. I'm not sure why he won. Player of the match, to be completely honest with you. I think they just gave it to him because maybe he had the most dribbles. I mean, let's have a look. Let's understand why he really won player of the match. Again, if you guys know me, I don't really believe in those stats. I just look at it. 4 dribbles. What else? Okay, forget that. How many chances did he create? 0 chances created, fam. So how the hell did he win player of the match with those stats, bro? Again, it can be this should be this guy. But I don't really look at this performance and say, oh, Lamine Yamal is rubbish. Lamine Yamal is a fraud. No. I think today's game was different for him because his role was a lot more centrally. This guy didn't really perform at the best of levels. Both of these two, of Casado and Eric Garcia they had a decent game respectively, but it wasn't like a performance where you're saying, wow. It wasn't like, oh my goodness, they were amazing. It was more like defensively they did their job. They were solid. But nothing special, nothing crazy. Like I said, this was Barcelona. Let's just go back to full screen now. Like I said, this was Barcelona's worst performance, but they still managed to get 3 points. Like the chance of Borja Marial towards the end of the game, I'm not sure why. If that was against Real Madrid, he would have scored at 100%. He would have, eyes closed, would have scored it. But Getafe didn't really threaten Barcelona, except for maybe the last 5 minutes and the beginning of 10 minutes of the game itself. Throughout the whole game, it wasn't really Getafe. I think Barcelona, ever since they scored the first goal at the 20th minute, they just controlled the game, and they were happy. Just they say, you know what? We got our goal. We know we're playing against a very physical team. Let's just move the ball around and make sure we don't lose the ball. And that's what they did. Let's go back to the lineup. Like I said, they were just happy to move the ball around without making any sort of exception. I mean, they had a couple of chances, but again, Pablo Torre wasn't the greatest. Even Rafinha, I don't think this was the best of performance of Rafinha. I think he was too heavily involved with the referee, just complaining, in my opinion. He wasn't really involved. I didn't see him much. Maybe when Ferran Torres came on, and when Pablo Torre went off. How can I remove him? Can I remove him? Anyway, when Ferran Torres came on, Rafinha moved a bit more centrally. But like I said, it wasn't the greatest of performance of this. Casado, Eric Garcia was decent. But these two, in my opinion, played very well. I think the back line of Barcelona, Koundé, in my opinion, was the best player of the match. Kubasi had a very good last-minute ditch tackle, like before he went off for fault. I think he had a very good tackle. Very great interception. These two has been very good. And in terms of Barcelona, I think the way they built up today wasn't from these two. It was from these two. The amount of line-breaking passes I was seeing from Kubasi and Inigo Martinez, it was crazy. Like, these two was the one that would actually get the passes into the final third. It wasn't much these two. It was these two that was getting the passes into the final third. Like, their ability to find people with ease is crazy. This guy's 17, and of course, Inigo Martinez. Bode, I'm quite surprised Barcelona has managed to keep him healthy, because it's crucial for them in terms of what Barcelona's season is with this guy. I think it's massive for them, and of course, I think Hansi Flick has done a. Let's go back. to, of course, the full screen. I think Hansi Flick has done a very great job of managing his minutes. Like, whenever he doesn't play full 90 minutes, last game he didn't start, and at the 78th minute, he replaced him with, of course, with Moreno. What's his name? The kid that came on. I forgot what he came on. The person who came on, the left back. What's his name? I forgot. The person he always. Let's go back. Who's the person who came on? Jared Martin. Now let's talk about another. Before we end the video, before I give you guys your own opinion, let's talk about Enrique Peña. He didn't really have much to do today. I'll be completely honest. He didn't really have much to do. However, Barcelona has, of course, signed. Let's just go on Twitter, and of course, Barcelona has signed. Wait, Szczesny? How do you spell Szczesny? Szczesny. Barcelona has, of course, here we go, confirmed on Szczesny as a free transfer to the end of the season. That's, of course, due to... Wait, can you guys see me? Yes, you guys. That's, of course, due to ter Stegen pretty much getting injured, and ter Stegen's out for the whole season with an ACL. Barcelona had two options. That was either sticking with Iñaki Peña till January and then sign someone. Most likely that was going to be Romero from Las Palmas, but they said no. Like, we can't trust Iñaki Peña to pretty much be the starting 11 goalkeeper to January. Let's just get someone that can just come in straight away and take that position and make his own. And they decided that there was a lot of options. There was Claudio Bravo, that was Keylor Navas, someone that Real Madrid, someone that we know very, very, very well. And of course, there was Szczesny, and they decided to go with Szczesny. Out of the three options, to be completely honest with you, I think this guy was the most suitable of options. Of course, he left. I'm quite surprised, to be fair. Like, he retired at... How old is he, actually? I don't think he's very old. How old is he? Szczesny is 34. I mean, 34 for a goalkeeper is very, very young. I'm quite surprised he retired at the age that he retired. Bro, he was a starting 11 goalkeeper for Juventus for the past pretty much 5-6 years. Ever since, of course, Gigi left Juve. So he's been there, had 2-3 couple seasons before his performances and he's starting to decline. But in terms of ball playing, I think he's the best one out of the three keepers which I mentioned, including Iñaki Peña. In terms of shot stopping, it's not really the greatest of strength, but it's someone that is going to be an upgrade to Iñaki Peña. Let's just go back to full screen now. Whether Barcelona makes him the permanent goalkeeper, because a part of me feel like he's not going to impress. A part of me feel like give it to Jan, and Barcelona's still going to sign Romero from Las Palmas. I think he's worth about 5 million. So I think he's going to be a short gap till ter Stegen comes back next season. But let's see what happens. But before I finish, of course, Barcelona fans, put down in the comments what you guys felt. This has been my thoughts. Like I said, not the greatest performances, but 3 points for Barcelona, which is at the moment... I think with Barcelona, their mindset is let's try to win as many games as possible with all the injuries that we have. Let's try to win as many games possible and go to a Clásico with a 4-point advantage before they face us. I think that's their mindset and that's their goal. I don't think they are, because throughout the whole season, they've actually performed well and they've been entertained. They've scored, Girona 5 goals, Villarreal 5 goals. So they've scored goals. I think they came into this game and said, you know what, let's just win. We've done the performance, now let's just get 3 points. And I think that's their mindset for every game to the Clásico. Because if you come to El Clásico with a 4-point advantage, even if you lose, you're still leading the league. I think they want to be in that position. But let's see what happens. Like I said, put down in the comments what you felt about the game. Don't forget to, of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new to the channel. And I'll see you soon. Peace.